What's up, weather fans? It's Alex back here with another video. Okay, so I told you, one or two of these pieces may connect. However, we're not seeing that one for Friday. But don't get discouraged. The weather pattern is certainly not over for winter weather lovers like me. Certainly isn't. There's been some disappointing trends going on, and unfortunately, I think that might become reality. But we're going to clarify on why that's going to happen. So, I know I have been hyping up that positive PNA, but what I didn't realize is that when that trough digs down, so actually, let's take a look a bit more, in depth, and we're going to take a look at the whole entire North America. So, here's your ridge, right? And you think this is good, okay? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Let's go Thursday, Friday. One thing you're gonna notice right off the bat, okay? Okay, let's go back to here, the 12Z. Let's go back to the 12Z. Notice this type of pattern, or this type of pattern versus this. What do you notice here? Right there. What do you notice here that is screwing up your storm chance? Reminder, a positive PNA. Yes, that's good. But I have been realizing what has been screwing up all of this. This one stupid ridge forming up here. Why is that declining this? This causes your energy to go out east here. And that's why it's going out to sea. Typically, when you see a positive PNA, you typically see this energy of blue here. And it dives down like this, picks up some Gulf Stream, goes off the East Coast. What you're seeing here is a complete abomination because you're seeing a positive PNA and you're seeing blocking. However, when these pieces of energy try to get down, it doesn't do it because this ridge goes down like this and then enters out to sea. Like, it goes way east. Let me just show you what it does. And this is for your Thursday into Friday. You see that piece of energy is well offshore. It is well offshore. You would want to see this setting up over here, not over here. That puts your precipitation out to sea. Friday, even then, you have a little bit more of energy coming through. But once again, it's just such a shitty pattern that we're in that this energy is just going to go off the east. Now, here's the thing. Once we get into this weekend, I'm starting to like the ridging position more. You're getting a very deep looking ridge over near Alaska. And that is a very strong ridge. And notice how we get rid of this crappy feature for Thursday. That stupid ridge that's going on there. Notice how we get rid of it. And then we start to reshape our ridge axis. This is when I'm going to say, if you're on the East Coast for this weekend, I'd be watching out for this type of pattern. Because I have been mentioning, Thursday and Friday, yeah, it's going to be razor close. But this right here screwed it all up. It really did. And then going into this weekend, I see much of a little bit of a better signal, but still not insanely good. You'd want this to dip right into here, not just like cutting all the way to the southeast. That's not good. But I do see better potential in the weekend. So, yeah. And then when we get to the end of the mile run, finally, this is when we start to get on a really good positive PNA, but we have a very strong trough. That is going to be something we're going to watch. That could be something really big. And then who the hell knows what's going to happen by the end of the mile run? That's some BS. Ridge first day, and then it shows a complete Arctic plunge the second day. So that's your, a little theory about what's going on in the air. Again, this is what screwed us up all. and that we're not going to see a major storm. If we just saw this cut off and we just saw this part shunted off and this ridge was just a bit further west, would have been a monster snowstorm for the East Coast. But since you're getting this type of setup here, that screwed it all up. It's over. We're not seeing a snowstorm there. So, yeah, I mean, it's disappointing. But don't get your hopes down, okay? We're absolutely going to see more of this. And we're going to see a much more active pattern once we get past these two time frames. So this is for your Thursday into Friday. And notice how that piece of energy that I was indicating earlier, well offshore. Well offshore. This is not even close. I will be keeping an eye out for some snow showers into Thursday night into Friday, potentially across New York City. This could be an interesting thing. I have been looking at the RFS a bit. This is for your Friday morning. You're gonna notice that there's rain, but as we get towards the night, look at this. We get a bit of a snow event. Could be an inch or two of snow. It could. So we're watching that. But again, not too crazy. Anything, we're gonna get lucky if we get an inch from that. But once we get into Friday, notice how unstable, incredibly unstable this atmosphere is. Multiple energy waves diving down throughout the Great Lakes Northeast, trying to dive down all the way into the Carolinas. Look how unstable this atmosphere is. This could be some very squally weather heading into Saturday into Sunday. And then watch how the European wants to even pop off a little wave of snow shower and rain shower activity for the Carolinas. And it's getting close. It's getting close. It tries to interact. And do we get anything by the end? Not really. But again, another piece of energy entering through Monday. And it tries to deliver some snow. Doesn't quite do it, but there's a lot of energy roaming in the atmosphere. And then we get into that 23rd into 26th time frame, which I'm going to be watching very closely. We get a bit of a cutter system, and then we get potentially a really big storm by the time we get into the 26th, into the 27th. Yes, the pattern is not dead. I repeat, it is not dead. We just need the ridge axis to really start to form where we want it to. We don't want it over here and then it starts going like this. We want a full defined positive PNA, but we also want that dip to be right in here so it swings right across the East Coast. We don't want it to be like right here, because it's just gonna do this and then boom, it's out to sea. It's not the pattern we want. But let's hope that changes soon, and I think it will. The ensembles are indicating that. Now going to GFS. Again, similar stuff. Wednesday, Thursday. GFS has a bit more of a well-defined snow shower activity type. And there could be some snow for the I-95 corridor on Friday morning. We're going to have to watch that very closely. Actually, no. Thursday morning. And then Friday, another piece of energy comes down out of the northwest, delivers some snow showers. I'd be watching out for some snow squalls in that setup. Definitely will be pretty interesting. And Sunday, again, another big piece of energy trying to pop off. And do we got enough interaction here where this could potentially form up something? It's close. But the moisture, again, it's pretty far east. But can I not say that this can trend a little further west and we could see a little bit of a snowstorm threatening here? I can't rule that out completely because we do have a better ridge. We do have a better trough axis here. So better indications for the weekend, not for Thursday and Friday. But yeah, Thursday and Friday, you might see maybe an inch, maybe 2 inches if you're lucky. And then the weekend, I might be watching here if you're. And it gets really close, but not quite. And then, major bomb cyclone over there in your main. Yeah, it's close. 9:44. Look how rapidly intensified that thing just became. 9:40. Wow. Yeah. It just tells you how explosive this atmosphere is. If you get the right ingredients, you're going to try to get something like that. Now, we get into that 22nd to 26th period that we're watching. Again, I want to say the models are kind of, it gets a little challenging after the 7-day period. And I know I'm like saying some BS right now, but promise me this. Don't cry that we don't get snow on Thursday and Friday. We have the weekend chance and we have this chance. Now here the GFS wants to deliver a little bit of a southern slider. Watch what it starts to do on the 23rd. A little bit of a bigger low pressure, and this looks like some cutting stream energy, which actually would deliver a pretty good snow swath across the mid-Atlantic. Watch this. Formidable low pressure in the Carolinas, tries to scoot east. Little bit of mixing issues, but it does turn into a pretty good snowstorm here. That's some signals to watch out here for. And by the time we get into the end of the run, another cutting system, and that could also have some snow in there. Getting to 26th, 27th, like I mentioned, snow. And then we get past that, snow, and a little bit of rain, snow, rain. It's going to be a very messy pattern. However, if we get these little lows to combine together, these little pieces of energy, these high amplified troughs, try to connect with that Gulf Stream, we're going to get something explosive. When is that going to be? I have no idea. But what I can tell you, the pattern is trending a lot colder. And I mean a lot colder. Not only that, okay, this weekend it could be cold, next week it could be cold, but overall, this is going to be some very, very cold air that could enter through the last week of January. I'm watching that very closely. So here's your little bit of a temperature dip for Friday morning that could allow for some snow. And Sunday again, Monday, Tuesday, look at that Arctic blast. Look at that Arctic blast. If we mix the precip right, this is all snow. 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, a little bit of a ridge, a little bit, but we have a huge Arctic blast loading up here. Very, very cold look. Don't believe this BS that there's a whole entire ridge in the southeast. Don't believe it. Now, let's go here, the GFS. Are we going to see the same thing? Well, the GFS, let's go back a little. Okay, the 16th, 17th, yep, okay. 18th, 19th, a little bit of a cold blast, and then 22nd, 23rd, a little bit. 24th, oof, it gets all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. If this cold air stays like it is, this could be a southern snow right here. This could be a southern snow and a mid-Atlantic classic. And it looks like the cold air is really going to stay. Look at that cold air by the end of the run. We're not going anywhere this snowstorm pattern. We just need the right teleconnections to get 6 to 12 to 18 plus inches of snow. It's not far. Really not far. But the fact that we have this type of ridge right here is really destroying your chances right now. That one little piece right here up in the north, that's what's destroying your chances, because what makes that trough start to go, and even if you look at your vorticity, you're going to see it very well here. Here's your vorticity for going into Thursday into Friday. You see how east this is? This you typically want over here. And that will give you a major snowstorm event. See how all that energy starts to exit off the coast? Look how offshore that looks already on Friday. Yes, it could give some snow to the Jersey coast for a little bit, but it's just way offshore. This has to be like right here if you wanted to scoot up the coast, but just takes it a little too soon, and this is really offshore. Same thing for Saturday, little bit more west, but you just get it's close. but it might just be a little too offshore again. Now, getting into your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, a little bit of a zonal pattern, but watch what starts to happen for the 24th, 25th, little bit of a, energy transfer, and then your cutters. Look at this. By the time we get into the 26th, 27th, that's going to be something to watch. If that aligns with the precip, yup, look at that. Yeah, that could be some very interesting stuff. Yeah, yep. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the pattern, it's not horrible, but we don't want it to end up like last year where you get all the cold air, but you have a shit trough position, and the positive PNA does not work out. Here's the thing. Positive PNA is great. All shapes and sizes, great. But if you can't get the teleconnections together, that's not good either. You don't want to deal with the very cold and windy, snowless winter. That's horrible. You don't want to deal with that. And the thing that I'm trying to say is, we're in a very good pattern. One of the best patterns we had in years. The only thing I'm trying to say is you gotta be careful about forecasting snow this many days out. And I'm not saying that, this can't happen, but it's just a little less confident. But you can just tell that these systems will wrap up intensifyingly crazy by the time we get into the East Coast and Northeast. And did you see like that 994, 944 that we showed you earlier? Yes, those are the types of systems that, hold up. Look at that, 944. Yeah, that's how intense these systems can get. We have the explosive environment. We have the cold air. We have a positive PNA. Now we need energy to connect with the southern stream, to the northern stream, and we need some mechanism to curve it up the coast. That's all we need. And really, man, I'm telling you, there's going to be at least a few storms that are going to do this. And it's not right off the bat the first one, but the second one, the third one, the fourth one, which one will it be? But I'm telling you, for January, plan at least for one significant major winter storm. Ones that we could be talking 6 to 12 inches. I'm telling you, plan on that. But I could be wrong, but I'm telling you, one storm for January. You'll be coming back to be thanking me that there's going to be one storm in January that's going to do it. Which storm is it going to be, though? February? Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, February is going to be so active. It's going to be ridiculously active. And this storm train is not ending anytime soon. So, if you want snow, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. There's no way you can't get it. Even if it means just a couple flurries or snow squalls. The snow squalls are still better than nothing. And they could be a pretty squally pattern as well with those northwest flow events. So just watch out for that. In terms of near-term snow, maybe some for Thursday morning. Maybe. I will say the RFS is showing it a bit. But I'm really watching that weekend time frame closely. And then next week is going to be the time frame to watch. Next week could be a really interesting one. So anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Promise we will get a better pattern after this. And I will see you guys soon.